Welcome to the New Normal Podcast. I want to tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in. Today we got a good topic for you guys, and especially good because tomorrow is Sunday, and we know how y'all like to party, boots on the ground, boot scoot and boogie, twerk, have your ass in the air, and wear that same outfit to the Lord's house on Sunday morning. So since we having this type of conversation, if y'all looking at the title, we're talking about planning God's face, and we see a lot of that today. And we're going to talk about the nuances of how Black people are just so talented and weird all in one. How can be the most spiritual people and the most blasphemous all at the same time. I'm going to let the fellas introduce themselves before we get started. Let's go, guys. Go ahead.
Yes, again, it is I, Chris, aka Legacy Made. Shout out to everybody who's been following the page on Instagram and subscribing on YouTube. We got some dope content on the way. We got an interesting conversation for you tonight and the following days for our Miscellaneous Monday and Outrage Wednesday. Let's get to it.
Toast makers, shot takes, and puff chasers. This is your Grace Sir Bradley Ashton. This is going to be another good one, with the podcast bros. We have been talking about the blasphemous folks up in the Black church, and we finna have us a good time.
Yes, sir. You got to bring it back to me so they know what was going on.
The martini, you got to show the martini.
I'm drinking a martini and Rossi. Yeah, so for those who know, I went on like a 6-month sabbatical from alcohol, but I have recently began to partake again. But I'm going to keep it moderate and mild. But yes, this is a martini that I made myself. So yeah, shout out to the New Normal Podcast, the Legacy Suite. We got the lounge here. See, we haven't given the people the true experience of what we got out there. See, I think we need to really let people come in and see, get you something to drink, get you something to eat, get on the camera, talk about some real topics, life-changing stuff that we can all grow from. So, yes, shout out to me as the bartender.
So today, we're going to be talking about, I don't know if y'all seen it out there, artists, and if you have, put in the comment section one if y'all have seen the queer male travelers, and I know that ain't their name, but they said they queer, they sing gospel music, and they Black men. We're gonna be talking about, Pastor Mike Todd and churches remixing songs, and you got the Not Like Us remix. We had it all of last year, even coming into 2025. People have been remixing these songs, and I don't understand how people can remix secular songs about eating ass, pussy, putting dicks in your ear holes and stuff like that, and trying to make them church songs. But nonetheless, people are out here doing it, and I think that is very odd, and I think it's very weird, and that's why I'm wearing this hat that says I hate humans, because people are so contradictory when they're in nature and the things that they say, their duplicities, and I really don't like it. And the Bible said God is the same today, tomorrow, and forever. But people always say, well, we living in a new time, and y'all wonder why we have a lot of weirdos and sick people thinking they can cut off their Peter whackers and stick it on their head. But we're gonna be talking about how Brazil had a parade, and the day after that parade, the parade was about mocking God. They mocked God and had like crazy floods the next day. I don't believe in playing with God like that, but some people do. Some people are blasphemous. I don't play with things that I don't think I fully comprehend, because even with my spirituality, I go back and forth on, I not necessarily if God's real, but religion, the religious aspect of it. What you fellas got to say before we can play this first video?
I'm like you said, I ain't finna play around with the Lord, man. Hey, that's a what how you, I guess with the phrase like an omnious being.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro. And you said a flood happened?
Yeah, flood happened the next day.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if y'all saw, but it may be unrelated, but y'all saw that the news about like it's a George Floyd mural that got struck by lightning.
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I want to look into that.
Yeah.
I think again, I'm not the most religious person, but I am spiritual, and I do feel every man should have a code of a higher calling than somebody that because it's not you. You're not the highest being. You see what I'm saying?
Nah,
So
facts.
you got to have a higher power that governs you. You need, whether that be a code or religion, whatever, because the religion is essentially a code, a rule book, a guideline, a practice of ethics. You see what I'm saying? So I think every man should have that, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever the case may be. Ifa, you got a lot of people who are practicing Ifa now, or is coming out that they're practicing Ifa. So it's just like I said, every man should have a code. And I think when you violate certain codes, certain repercussions are going to take place, because every side is out of bounds. You got sideline, sidewalk. You got boundaries that people tend to ignore, and when you ignore said boundaries, that's when things go awry.
I agree.
I agree.
So the first one we're gonna play. You see, y'all wanna play the queer group right now.
Yeah, you can go.
Hey, you go and play them boys, man.
Traditions, what I love.
It's really surreal, especially, coming from church and being a preacher's kid myself. My mom's actually here. So to see my mom support us as openly queer people, it shows the world that God loves us, our families can love us, and there's a space for us all at the throne of grace.
And I'm glad we're doing a lot of work to change this narrative that you cannot be someone of faith, and also support LGBT people or be a queer person. What do you want to remind everyone that you can, because you can be a believer, you can, have your own, your religious beliefs, but also still be a part of the community.
I feel sorry. Okay. I was like, I feel, no matter what you believe in, you have to feel what's right in your heart. If you're doing the right thing, you got to follow the righteous path, because I was gonna say it'll lead you in the victory. I'm like, love is love. You gotta just own up to it. Like at this point,
there's a cross for everybody.
I'm gonna tell y'all this before y'all go.
Yeah.
It was people out there that thought crack was right at their heart, and we see how them people turned out. It's people that think fentanyl is right in their heart. It's people that's out here that think molesting kids is right in their heart.
Right.
So we just can't be out here talking about love is love and whatever you feel and do it. No, we can't go off feeling. There have to be rules, regulations, and for the greater good of society. And I think that's why in a lot of Muslim countries, they actually practice it in their society as well as believe it. And in like places like America, we only practice it on Sundays and on Bible studies when you go to work, when you walk down the street, when you go to the club. Yeah, you could do all of these things that show that you are not a Christian, but you only show that you're a Christian on these 1 or 2 particular days or set events that the church plans out for y'all. How y'all feel about that?
It's a phrase that I've been playing around with. Call it CINO.
Mm-hmm.
Christian in name only. I think a lot of people who proclaim the Christian faith are more times lukewarm at best. We will pick and choose, certain things out of the Bible that we want to abide by and what we want to affirm, in particular situations and settings, but don't go by everything at the book, because to really say that, excuse me, that you are a devout Christian, it means sacrificing a whole lot, sacrificing your feelings, sacrificing your ego, because the rules of God is much higher than any of our emotions and feelings can even equate to. So it may be things you may want to do, but if you don't necessarily abide by what God is saying, you're trying to remix something to make yourself feel better about your potential sins or transgressions.
I agree.
If you even listen to them, they're filibustering a lot. And he stated something that was it wasn't triggering, but see, this is our problem. He stated that we want to go at this narrative. It's not a narrative. It's law that's written in the Bible.
Right. That
this is an abomination, whatever, and all the other, rhetoric behind it. It's not a narrative. It'll be like if I'm operating a crane that, you have some of those dangerous yet essential jobs. If I say, if this say, hey, don't go over 30 degrees, don't do this, keep this temperature here. If I go outside and say, well, they really don't say that. I can do 40 degrees. I can do 100 degrees. That determines life and death.
Right.
If I don't stay within these guidelines. So even if you listen to that, it's a lot of filibustering, and it's you can't just make this up as you go. And like you stated, pick and choose what you like out of this book. If you say you're a Christian values and commandments say this. If you're Muslim or Islam, it says this. You can't pick and say, well, it don't really say that. See, in the black community and black church, we have this interpretation clause in a lot of things.
Right.
Well, that don't really mean that. That ain't really what he's saying. Well, that's just your interpretation of it. How can you have 6 different interpretations of one sentence, which is possible if you want it to be? If it say, hey, we're not open until 9, ain't no other interpretations of that. Laws are not misinterpreted. Bullshit is. It say we don't open till 9. You can't misinterpret that.
Right.
Yeah, even in our society, what they say, ignorance of the law is not a defense. So even when you're thinking about that, you got to know how to operate in your day-to-day being. Even if you don't know or don't understand, you still gonna be subject to the laws at hand. And when we talk about being part of the LGBTQ community, that is the only sin in your Bible that is called an abomination: homosexuality. Yeah. So when people want to talk about like, well, people sin, don't judge my sin. Well, the only sin in your Bible that's called an abomination is homosexuality. And homosexuality leads to a lot of death. Now, I get it. A lot of people are going to say, well, they were killing. God was a wrathful God. God did Sodom and Gomorrah. Those was because God said he's a jealous God. I mean, Chris had a conversation about God being a jealous God, but God said in the Bible that he's a jealous God and don't want you worshiping other gods or pagan gods that you decide to create in your mind. So he will wipe out cities because there will be no unbelievers in those cities. So I think we're going to see a lot more things, like I said, depending on what you believe. We think we're going to see a lot more supernatural, weird circumstances that happen because so many people are trying to do these things. And I'm gonna say this: it seems as if when we have trials like Diddy trials, your Harvey Weinsteins, and you see all of this stuff behind the scenes and the quote unquote pizza gates and adrenal glands, you hear them worshiping the devil and Baphomet and all of these things. It always seems those people take those, I guess, religions or, satanic rituals very serious, more so than the people that claim to be Christians, and they still go and listen to your Beyonce's, your Jay-Z's, and then try to, like I said, remix it and put it in your church. But these are people that I know one person that was talking about, they was working in the studio with Ashanti, the music artist, and said that she would lay out certain artifacts in the booth before she sang and just start praying in different tones. She said he didn't understand what she was doing, who she was praying for, didn't recognize these artifacts, but she would do this thing and then she would sing it. He said the energy in the room would be different. So like I said, I do think there are some supernatural things that we are just so taken from, have been taken from. We don't understand. Like even like Haiti, you hear a lot of places about Haiti, like even going to New Orleans. New Orleans is a weird place for me. I feel like it's very spiritually heavy. I don't know if y'all ever been.
I mean, no, for real, bro. Like it like it's funny you say that, Sid, because like New Orleans is like one of my favorite cities to go to. But there is, like you said, there is like this energy that's in that particular area. I don't know that's necessarily spirits that's there. Like you said, New Orleans, just the history of New Orleans, when you talk about voodoo, hoodoo, right, all those different influences, coming into play, people still practicing those things, to this very moment. Witchcraft. Yeah, I definitely agree with New Orleans being a town that specializes in the supernatural.
I definitely agree. And like I said, even I'm gonna say something wild, but even just like like when I see women go there for girls' trips, they seem to be way more sexually easier and way more heightened and promiscuous. And then you got to think about like it seems like the drinks be stronger down there. Like it's New Orleans is a different vibe when you go down to New Orleans and chill, and how the women act and sexuality and stuff like that. To me, that's just my take. So
it's two cities like that that I've experienced. That kind of
other second.
So New Orleans is one.
Okay.
And Miami is another one.
Miami definitely.
Okay, why would the Miami?
And you know what those two cities have in common?
What?
They're on the water or close to water.
Boom.
Oh,
boom.
Yeah.
if you think about the history of New Orleans, it's a lot of rebellion in New Orleans. The rebellion, like I said, the hoodoo, the voodoo,
Yeah.
and you gotta look at the people who colonized that area. Go back to Katrina. You go back to a lot of different natural disasters that have kept going. Like, why they keep getting hit like this? And then you go and look at the history, and it kind of line up with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like a cleansing that come
Yeah.
through, like a
Yeah.
cleansing of, whatever energy, whether it's evil or just not right. But let's say go to Miami. I think people cross over planes when they go into these cities, and it's like, well, I can be this. It's okay for me to be this here.
Here,
I can't be this home,
Mhm.
but I cross over this plane. I got to cross water to get to New Orleans. It may not be Miami, depending on where you're coming from, but New Orleans, you got to go over the lake. Was that Pontchartrain?
Mhm.
Another city just popped in my head. New Orleans, Miami, Houston.
I ain't never been to Houston, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Houston, like you got some beaches, and like Houston is Atlanta 2.0 in my opinion, but it's
Yeah.
more of you got a little bit more Hispanic, a little bit
Mm.
more interracial, South
Mm.
American presence. But I think, like I said, people are seeking these energies, and they really cultivate them. They taking them like, hey, I'm finna go. If you look at most people how they playing, they tell you what they gonna do when they go down here. I'm about to go down here and act a fool.
Mhm.
I'm about to go down here and turn up.
Oh yeah.
I'm about to go down here and do this. It's premeditated, and they find it a lot of times. Also, the part they don't, the small print, you found it, but you found all of it, and you ain't coming back, or you ain't coming back the way you went.
Where you went, yeah.
Oh.
So
See, that's the crazy part about when you think, why do you think, or why do you have to basically transform or basically be spiritually different when you go to these places? Because that's really what it be. Because I've been, y'all heard the sayings, some people you can't take nowhere. They just act as soon as they get out the city, as soon as they change time zones, as soon as they sleep schedule a little different, they just a whole new person.
that's their true self.
Mm.
That's their true self. When they in here, I gotta fake. I gotta be politically correct because grandma watching my Instagram, my mom Facebook. I can't be who I really am. It ain't who I want to be. It's who I am.
Mm.
And you got this underworld of thing, whether it's sexual underworld, the criminal underworld,
Right.
and people, you say, damn, they did that. You see these, like, damn, they did that, or they did, or that's what they. You see what I'm saying? And it's a surprise to some, but it ain't to others. It's like, well, fuck, she want to go to Miami every weekend, or why she always here? You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
always, but always. You here 4 times out of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
You love to
pretty,
go.
That's pretty frequent.
You see what I'm saying? So you going here to be who you are because you repressed who you are at home for whatever benefit you get, whether it's a paycheck, whether it's favor from family, friends,
Right.
whether it's keeping relationships intact because they can't, your character outside of what you're doing here may taint our business. So you got to go here. Well, I can go here. I can be who I want to be. It's like a fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I think of other cities, like Atlanta is that too.
I just gonna say.
Atlanta is not on the water, but I think it's a central location in the South. I think a lot of people go there to be different, and then we got a big homosexual presence there. Big homosexual preference. You got a lot of sexually transmitted diseases. You got a lot of people trying to find themselves, and it's a big city. And then you got to add the other part of the hustle culture, the money culture, and then you got a big music presence there. Because I just actually subscribe or follow Zaytoven today.
Yeah,
I seen on his page he seemed to be working with a lot of gospel artists now.
Oh yeah. He been working with Lecrae for a good little minute.
And so I get it. Like I said, you're looking for good beats. You want to make good music. But when it gets to the point when your music sounds like I'm turning on the secular station, see, that's the point that I don't think a lot of people understand. And we were making a joke about this earlier. You're trying to captivate the youth because they say it's easier to teach young men than it is to change old people, basically. Can't
Right.
teach an old dog new tricks. It's the same.
Yeah.
So that's why y'all want to, get to you. Same thing when we watch these TV shows when they talk about, LGBTQ, or you see all these people parents going to these city council meetings protesting these books that they got for their children to read about sex and gender positivity, body part, like all of these weirdo things that children should not be reading. They should be learning 1, 2, 3s and ABCs, but they so busy talking about chopping your Peter Welker and putting a Peter Welker on you, which is weird to say, but we get to the point now that there is no differentiating. Like everything is everywhere. I grew up believing in time and a place. I don't know why I got to be in school and we got to have a LGBTQ boys and girls club or class afterwards. That's weird. Why are we not talking about debate? Why are we not talking about school? Why are we not talking about finances? But you got to talk about that. I don't understand why in the church we're talking about that. I don't understand why in church they had this idea of come as you are. That's not even scripturally sound. And then niggas love to just make up shit in the Bible. Cleanliness is next to godliness. That's not even in your Bible, but y'all do the most dirtiest, nastiest shit ever and still come to church.
I want to touch on that. Even like what I started to notice, like, is because I'm a people watcher, right? If you look at people long enough, their spirit and heart starts to show in their face.
Oh yeah, it do.
You see what I'm saying? Like you start seeing like, and I hate to say it like this, but it's gonna sound abrasive, but ugly people. And not ugly as in unattractive, but ugly as in
Spiritual.
the spirit, and you see the scowl, you kind of see what's in them on the outside. You see what I'm saying? Like, so going to the cleanliness next to godliness, it's never gonna be. If that was the true practice, like if people really believe that, you wouldn't have, because sacred things are protected, right? You got this this
intersection,
this intersectional interconnection of, we'll say, trap, whatever, like Zaytoven working with gospel
trap
artists,
gospel,
to where the gospel artists coming into that. Why you want to sound like that? And it's to get the youth, is to get the children. Those are the primary targets, and those are the least talked about people in society. They talk about the black woman, the black man, the white woman. I rarely hear conversations surrounding about them children. You see what I'm saying? Like, so
and to be honest, children are the most vulnerable group in America. Not racism, just not talking about the race, not black or white, but children are the most vulnerable groups of people in America,
and they're the most underserved.
Right. And I was listening to Tim Tebow. He was on a podcast and he was talking about how white men are the biggest molester of their kids in America. This guy, Tim. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he was showing like a map, and he said that's 105, 100 and some thousand people on there. Those dots on that map. And he was like, those are men who have searched up child pornography within, I think, the last 2 weeks. 100,000 people. And he said, I think 60, 70% of those people are people who have children or sex offenders. And those are people that have molested their children. Like people, and when we have these conversations, nobody ever really want to talk about children like that. But children are so vulnerable. Like, even when we talk about the little girl,
we're gonna talk about that Monday.
We'll talk about that Monday. The boots on the ground.
Miss Shirley.
Yeah, like it don't make no sense for all these grown men to be touching and picking her up, taking pictures with her. Nah. Now, and you know what's crazy? Black people get weirded out about certain Santa Clauses we let our children sit on. But now you okay with her just going to get picked up by all these different men and women though? Just think about that. Santa Claus is supposed to be a joyous time, but niggas is that's Santa Claus. You a little, he look a little weird. You look close to his Peter Wacker when you sit on him, or he look a little touchy, feel it. We be weirded about Santa Claus. That's supposed to be a joyous occasion. So you mean to tell me you okay, lady, exploiting your daughter to get picked up by these young men like this?
But sadly, bro, we been had certain mothers who would do that, bro. Like, you got mothers who've been pimping out their daughters, for centuries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of that be due to the fact that they know that they're not trying to, take care of their daughter, so take care of their daughter in older age. So it's like, okay, let me go ahead and try to, set her up, to already kind of be, like I think the term is adultification, where you are already trying to make your daughter or your young child, perform adult you know what I'm saying, adult acts,
Yeah.
you know, long before they're even, you know, cognizant of what they're actually doing.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
dope boy son. I'm the man of the house. We 14. Dad ain't there, so I'm the man. I'm bigger, black. I got to take care of home. He get out there and trap, get out there and do what necessary because mama need rent money. So his actions ain't aligned with what's right and wrong. Mama, we got to have the rent. So I'm gonna do this. We're in a dark place now to where we are so hungry for this decadent material it don't have no value. I want the designer, luxury, money. To do what?
Just to have it.
To do what?
Look, just to have it, not have no type of plan for it. You don't have no type of, you know, plan for the future as far as how you're going to invest it, how you're going to have your dividends. It's just you want that fast money right then, you know, but not knowing the price that's going to take to get that.
It's crazy.
And see, that's the thing. Like a lot of times, the why, I don't think people ask themselves the why of everything. They just doing it, monkey see, monkey do, following, keeping up with the Joneses. And, you know, society does that to a lot of people, but it gets to the point where you should have some type of cognitive. But we're going to be real. A lot of people need their hands held through society. A lot of people aren't adults. Age does not make you an adult. And we have to be honest about that. There's a lot of people out here raising children. There's a lot of people working jobs. A lot of people that's older than 18, 21, 30 that are not adults. And so we see too much monkey see, monkey do. We got old people, old women out here on TikTok asking you who the mother, who the daughter, dancing, twerking their cellulite. We got women out here now. And I'm saying the women because this is typically a woman issue, because when cosmetic surgeons say when women come in here, they don't come here to look better, they come here to look younger. And so that's why we're talking about this, because a lot of women, especially in our community, are heads of households and they're not teaching children how to grow up or to progress to be adults. And that's what's scary, that what we're seeing now.
And you talk about playing, not to go, but playing in God's face. Where I go and tell this surgery, hey, I don't like how I look. I don't like how God made me. Give me a bigger ass.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can die, but give it to me. We seen so many women die at the hands of surgery out of it's vanity. You know, I always say vanity and greed go hand in hand. And going back to the group, which are the Harlem gospel travelers, and they filibustering around to where we have to make sure things are in line with reality and context, to where if you're homosexual, that's your sexual preference. That does not equate or correlate directly to your personality and your behavior.
Right.
So you see the flamboyantness, the cry for attention. We're the only group, and you look at who's exploited in the worst way is black men and women, mostly black men.
Facts.
You look at the NFL, you see Debo Samuel, you see these muscle-bound, testosterone-filled bulls coming through the hall in the locker room, purses, tights, bell bottoms, looking very effeminate.
Right.
You don't see that in baseball where they're going through the tunnels. You don't see that.
NHL.
You don't see that in NHL. You don't see that in soccer, which is the most popular sport in the world.
And they wearing them designer Italian suits.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so you making these black men look weak on purpose, even if you are, again, homosexual. What that does not or should not affect your personality and your daily behavior. That's just something what you like in the bedroom. Why are you wearing braids and all this flamboyantness, marketing your homosexuality?
See, that go back to black people. And like I said, we talk about how talented we are as black people.
Right.
But also, I think that comes with the territory of us being damn near slow, kind of retarded, maybe on the spectrum a little bit, because you know, when we see like artists, you look at your Princes, your Michael Jacksons, and people that come that make it to these certain levels, then you're like, damn, this nigga kind of weird. We wouldn't think that would be okay to act like this, to move like this. No black man would ever think it's okay to buy a Neverland Ranch and have, you know, kids sleeping in the bed with us. Not saying that he was a pedophile or anything, but just the looks of it. Because I grew up, no, you don't want the look of impropriety.
Yeah.
And we always thinking about that and said just what it looks like. And that's why I said people don't understand the why of their lives. And it's sad, it's scary, and people don't want people to say anything. We live in a society. I should be able to speak on how you move and how you act because that's part of society, especially when you coming out here and sashaying and wearing stuff. Because you know who the truthful people is in our society still? Children. When I'm somewhere with my boys and they somebody weird come with blue hair or you don't know if it's a boy or girl, they will look at me and like, they don't say nothing, but I can tell in their face like, "Hey, Dad, hey,
something ain't right.
Something ain't right."
yeah.
And sometimes children like they said, children know what's going on. Yes. Children know that. Let's be real. And these children have such pure spirits. They can pick up on spiritual stuff too. That's why sometimes even babies, certain people hold them. You be like, "Damn, that baby ain't never cried like that." But as soon as you picked him up, he started whining. 6-month-old baby ain't never cried like that. But as soon as you picked him up, it was an issue there.
Animals too.
Yeah. And those are like things that they show. You know, they were saying like you could tell how a person psychologically is if they harm children, animals, and women. And typically they was talking about like the psychology of it, like women have big eyes. That's why they lie. You know, part of the reason why women are deceitful is because they don't have the strength and, you know, can take on a man. So they use their eyes and bat their eyes and look a certain type of way and have those big eyes. Same with babies and animals and stuff like that. So those are things that's like a defense mechanism to lower them down. And that's why even today in society, we look at women like, well, women ain't that violent. But when they say wolf in sheep's clothing, that's kind of how women are. Now we're starting to see, we got all these videos. Just seen a lady in I don't know what that was, put her twins in the oven for 15 minutes, killed her children. They gave her 5 years.
That's
what?
Crazy.
They need her back out here to make some more.
Yeah. Cost more.
A lot of people don't understand the economics and reproduction. We need more children, whether you're going to go Fortune 500 or go to this prison. We need more kids. So
for real.
That's why a lot of women get taps on the hand. Hey, I know they messed up, but hey, we need them back out here. We need some more babies.
Yep, I think the same thing with a lot of the black men too. They always talk about the justice system is cruel to black men, but then when I see like people who killed like Young Dolph, both of those men have rap sheets ever since they was 12 years old, thick as a phone book, and you ask yourself, how do these people keep continually to get out there to do what they did to Young Dolph, to cause havoc in this community? They know they gonna get slaps on the wrist. They go and commit these crimes and cause havoc and kill people and rob people and steal people just to make your community worse because y'all in y'all community think it's okay. Black people, we do think a lot of bullshit is okay. And that's cool, that's gangster, that's hard. We don't have people that come together and say, hey, them niggas get out of jail, they gotta go. We don't say stuff like that, but they will release them back out, commit some more crimes, do it over again. You're like, damn, you just got out for killing somebody. You just got out for shooting somebody. You just got out for stealing something, and you back doing the same thing. So like I said, I think a lot of people got to understand it's twofold. Do I think sometimes they'll railroad people and put them in jail? Yeah, they will. But at the same time, you got some other people that's young enough, they know, hey, this is a knucklehead. We want him to go out there to continue to wreak havoc in the black community.
We got and I know we harping on this, but the next video with the parade, because I think a lot of times people don't, there's this conversation now because they're talking about how white people have not gotten their karma from playing with God and doing these diabolical things is because they don't believe in it. But we're about to show a video now to where you got this big area. Everybody may not have the same beliefs, but most of them gonna have the same beliefs. But you see them having this parade, which are gonna play, and then immediately after you see the repercussions of playing with the Most High or the powers that be. I don't think people believe it's real until it's real. Like going into it, doing, you all glee, I'm gonna do this, but then afterwards you be like, oh shit, I shouldn't have did that. But it's too late now.
Right.
Yeah, let's get in that video.
This is what happens when you mock the Most High, the one true God, source consciousness, the creator of this beautiful simulation that we're in, as we see Brazil doing. And then, bam, this happens. So a lot of these countries are going to be getting judged, including America, Because look at all the evil America has done. For more information, go to TommyTruthful.com. Truthful, out.
So after y'all see that, and you see them making fun of God, and I think this ain't the first time we done had like a festival or something like that where we've seen people make fun of God and mock God, and then devastation happen, a tsunami happens, some fires break out, or tornadoes hit. We have seen a bunch of things that happen just like this stuff in Haiti. And what you got to ask yourself, and this is always the question I got to ask myself: who's the real God, and what is the real religion? Because you got different places that mock God, and then you have these devastations because it's like, hey, we never had a flood like this, but you mocking this God, not necessarily the Christian God, but then it is a God. Like, who's the real God?
Oh man, that's a good question, Say, because if you would have asked me this question probably about a year or two or so ago, man,
Yeah,
I'd be like that. There's like this one big God, and then you have like different subsects of religions that people practice, like you said, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hindu, all that stuff, whatever. As I'm starting to get older, and I'm not trying to be biased because this is what I grew up with, but I'm really starting to think, man, the God of the Bible, bro, is like the real God.
why do you think that?
Because it's like, man, think about it, man. Like Christianity is it's probably the religion that gets disrespected the most. But then also too, in that same breath, like you said, supernatural situations like that happen, and a lot of times it comes from the mocking of that particular religion. And then also when you think about other countries where you may have another religion that may be dominant outside of Christianity, and the lengths that they would go to bear individuals from practicing Christianity because they want them to practice that other said religion. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, it may, like I said, it maybe be my own personal bias, but I really think, like the Christianity, the God of the Bible is the God.
And going back to the Brazil, I think most the religion practice in that area is Catholicism.
Facts.
And if you think about the Catholic Church, right? The Catholic Church is a global church. It's everywhere. You don't see a lot of the mega preachers. You don't see it commercialized the way you see Christianity commercialized. You see it in all your sitcoms. You see it in your movies. You see some Catholicism there, here and there, but it's not exaggerated in the manner that Christianity is. You see what I'm saying? So, it's hard to call it, but I would agree with Brad as far as when you look at the Bible and how prophetic it is from Revelations, and you look at what we see now in America, you almost say, well, it's almost too accurate to where y'all correspond in this with the Bible.
So let me ask y'all this, and this is gonna be the question: is the Bible prophetic, or is the Bible a blueprint?
Shoot, it could be both.
I mean, Revelation is a blueprint.
I mean,
telling you what's gonna be.
The reason I said it, because when they say prophetic, it's kind of means there's some divinity there. But then a blueprint is kind of like somebody wrote this book, and this is what they set in place, and this is what they want to happen in this amount of time, or this is what they want the word to look like. So they just laying out the groundwork and letting people know, hey, this is what's gonna happen because it's so set in place. So this is why I gotta ask, like, is it really prophetic? Is it really just some divine thing?
I mean, people say that the authors who created the Holy Bible, that, like, none of these people knew each other.
Yeah.
And it's the inspired word of God. So for you to be able to write 66 books where you come from different spans of time and they all coincide with one another, like, you kind of had to ask yourself, like who else is able to make that happen than something as powerful as omnious as God.
Yeah.
And it's been tainted too because you got King James, who wrote the Bible and says it's King James version,
Right.
but he also wrote a book on demonology.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So this is the same author giving you what's supposed to be our basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And the same telling us about demons.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to kind of navigate through that, that highway of where if they saying, and in this time, it's gonna be the great confusion. Men, don't want to take on the
We definitely
garments.
there.
There's gonna be 7 women and 1 man. You're gonna have all this disarray, and you see it. It'll be crazy to think that they ain't architect and orchestrating it as it is written. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Is to get the stuff that we have gotten today and what we see, it'll be very difficult for me to believe this wasn't objective.
Right.
How did you get this product exact like this?
And why do you want this product?
And why is it promoted? Because not only do you get it, it's marketed and it's promoted. Almost so it's designed like a car.
Yeah.
Nah,
Like,
for real.
you see what I'm saying? So
Like that's the thing. Why do you want men confused about what they want to wear? Why do you want women confused about that? Why do you want women killing their children, not wanting to be do stuff that they're naturally made to do? Men not doing what they're naturally made to do. Like, why? What's the point of this confusion? What so I guess maybe just to see if you could do it, maybe because sometimes people have certain powers. I think it gets to the point where they have certain powers. They're just like, I just want to see what I can do.
I think it's all about conquering, dog. The easiest way to conquer somebody is to confuse them.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. Discombobulate them. You look at some of the tactics, some of these SWAT teams and military, the flash grenade. It discombobulates. You don't know what's going on. You got this big bang, this big flash. You confused, dazed. I don't know. It'll be hard for me to think that they're not doing this without what would be the alternate end game outside of being conquered. There's no other end game. I want you to be conquered. That way I can rule over you. You ain't gonna question shit. You're gonna go with the flow.
But what is too much?
Ain't no
Because-
too much.
See, and that's my thing because I feel like people are pretty much conquered now. I don't think people are conquered
We've
now.
been conquered a long time.
That's what I'm saying. So what else do you want people to be able to do for you? Because it only so much about, let's say a Bill Gates. Let's say he got part of that. You're $100 billion man. What else is it to do?
That money, dog, is so money.
You got the influence, you got the power, everybody know your name. You can go over to Africa and say, I'm finna give you some vaccines, or go to France, or go to these different places and say you're gonna do something and it come to fruition. You touching shows with people in these rooms. Like, what else is there to do?
I think it's to just make sure that you have certain systems intact because everything is cynical.
Yeah.
So just like how you have things where people may seem like they're conquered, you'll have rebellion. You're starting to hear more people, in particular, Gen Zers, who are getting reacclimated back to religion, back to faith. And people seeing this and they like, oh, snap, like the youth, like we were just saying, the youth is starting to realize like, snap, like something is obviously wrong here. So let me try to course correct, but the powers that be like, oh, hell no, we can't have this going on.
Yeah.
Throw some over there.
Let me go ahead and do what I gotta do to make sure I still got my power intact before I'm taken over by what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I think we have a certain level of naivete that there's a higher order in place that we have not seen. There's a shadow, not ram, but I guess you call it. It's a shadow ram, and it's a group of people or beings that are operating on a level that we can't and don't want to acknowledge. Because if you look at what has been reinforced over year after year, violence, sex, you talking 30, 40 year campaigns, see?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These campaigns have been going 40, 50 years. Who would want to maintain and perpetuate such a campaign for this length to where, again, we can't understand what the end game is, but there's an end game.
Oh, for sure.
We just don't want to acknowledge or can't acknowledge it. But the people that's there, the higher order, they know what we got y'all doing.
And that's what's scary to me when we had these conversations, like just thinking about sex, how sex crazed people are. And then we still today getting reports of HIV outbreaks, syphilis outbreaks. These outbreaks, we not just seen a report last week of new STDs out there now.
What?
It said it's a new
like
STD,
a
brand new STD, brand new. And I'm like, what?
You look at before you go, if you look at your algorithm, Matt, you know what I've been seeing that's been, for the last few months that's been heavily promoted: gambling and Blue Chew.
Damn sure is.
I said, why am I always seeing Blue Chew on my shit? Like, okay, this man did get 50% erect. What? Okay. Why y'all promoting so many products for sexual? You see what I'm saying, to the man? And it's really to the black man because they always got black men in the ads.
Yeah, they got big jaw and I don't.
Blue Chew is always on. Saying, what is the obsession with this Blue Chew shit? Like, okay,
because when you say that now, it made me think. Because when you say that about even the Blue Chew shit, we've had Viagra's, we've had the Cialis, you've had all these over-the-counter medicines. If your dick ain't working, you can go take. But why are y'all? Now we see Shannon Sharp doing the Rose Spark shit. The red, that little black packet with the red pill, that's Rose Spark. But all of these things to keep your penis hard to get erect. But then when you think about it, they put so much bullshit in our food to keep your dick soft and make you, ambiguous in your body. Your testosterone is lower than they said.
The atrazine floating in the water.
Yeah, so it's weird to say I want your dick hard because I want you fucking, but then I'm gonna feed you this. They go back to the confusion because it's like, what are you trying to do?
And it's funny you say that because I'm like, all right, you have all these products to help with, I'm assuming like erectile dysfunction, but you're not promoting anything but just having sex.
Right.
You're not trying to say, hey, we want you to take these supplements to have more children.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with our birth decline in this country, being below 2.1, as far as the birthing rate. So it's kind of like y'all say, like, what are we promoting? We just really just outwardly promoting debauchery.
Right.
Before we go to this next one, which is the Michael Todd, I do want to touch on something. We can probably get on it next week. They have a new study now because normally, or not normally, but for a long period of time, they had the 25% of black women won't get married. Now they're saying 1 in 4 adults, no matter the race, are not going to get in a committed or long-term relationship or marriage.
I saw that.
It's no longer the woman. It's 1 in 4 individuals, whether that's male, female, black, white, or brown. Why would that be? Not saying why would it be studied because it's just a stat, but you ain't getting to this point without a pathway to get here. You carved the road, is my point. You carved the road to get here. And what have we been seeing? You mentioned Bill Gates, depopulation. Keep them fighting each other. Put them shows up, balloon pop, make sure they hate each other at all times. They can create bastards because they frustrated.
Right.
But because we need the prison, we need the free labor. So create bastards, not families.
It's like the more developed a nation is, the less likely someone is to have children. But the less developed a country is, the more children that they have, you know.
Well, I think of it like this because I remember when going from a city school to moving to where there was basically nothing but like church and like the rec. And one thing I noticed when you go to like these communities or these country towns where there's nothing, you do nothing but fuck.
True.
You ain't got no bowling alley, you ain't got no movies, you ain't got no real football team, you ain't got no really extracurricular activity. So all you doing is, going to bonfire, chilling with your little girlfriend, fucking on the back of the truck, or you just having sex. That's all it is to really do. But then, like I said, in big cities, you got a lot of stuff you can really get into. You can go skydiving, you can go fly on the plane, you got so much stuff that you got access to where it can kind of take your mind off just going out there to sex. Access to like tablets and playing video games. You got to think about if you poor, you ain't in the house playing video games, you can't afford it. So you out there mud riding, you mingling with people, you having fun. Like these are the people that you're gonna probably graduate high school with and die with. You know what I'm saying? So that was just different. This is a different time, which is pretty, scary when you think about it. When you call stuff, and I think that's another thing they trick us with. Developed. We develop, but we doing shit that's regressive at the same time. That's always scary. So the next thing we finna play is Michael Todd.
Here's a character.
We're gonna play Michael Todd. And the reason we're gonna play Michael Todd is because Michael Todd is not the only. I'm gonna repeat, Michael Todd is not the only pastor that I've been seeing. And my biggest issue with a lot of these pastors is they don't never have Bibles in their hand when you see them preaching or their little clips on the internet. They never talk about the biblical stuff. Or Michael Todd even said in the clip, and I wish I would have put it up here, that he doesn't even like studying. He told this in front of his congregation, not just just a conversation on the podcast. This is actually for his congregation. He doesn't like studying before his services. He has people come in and they make sermons for him. He also, I see in another video, they were talking about all the performative things that he does in church, making basketball courts, trampoline, spitting in hands, rubbing it on people's faces, just different things that he does, because this is an entertainer and not necessarily a man called by God. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this entertainment aspect in church. And the reason we're going to play this part is because we're going to show y'all how they're remixing a lot of these secular songs and putting it in church. And like I said, these are songs talking about killing, murdering, getting fucked in the ass, pussy on dick, skiing in the face, all types of just different diabolical shit. And they just keep putting it in the church. And we got to put it like that, because I think another thing too, you still have a big subset of older people that might not listen to the music and actually listen to what Kendrick Lamar is saying in Not Like Us or these other songs that they remix. So they just listen to the beat because the beat is catchy. But so if you're watching this video, I got to put it in your face, just like they put it in our face. Let us know that, hey, y'all niggas in these congregations, y'all stupid, and y'all gonna party, boot, scoot, and boogie, and shake y'all ass, just like y'all do in the club on Sunday night. So this is the song right here.
Mustard! Yes! I'm not gonna do it every time. I can't do it every time. Just say it with me. Say mustard. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. All right. Help me. Mustard. Yes. I'm not gonna do it every time. I can't do it every time. Just say it with me. Say mustard. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. All right. Help me.
And y'all got this nigga up here looking like somebody hunt tea. That shit.
Man got a mustard blouse on.
He knew it was all planned.
Got the big bell bottom pants on, and got a nerve to have some heels on.
Right, with the mustard on the screen back there. And I don't understand, why would you be screaming mustard like that? Because what does that have to do with church? Mustard is the producer or the beat maker of the beat that he was playing of Not Like Us, from a rap battle beef that Kendrick Lamar had with Drake. He's the most secular artist that there is, biggest secular artist that there are. And y'all want to play these type of songs in your church.
Again, I always say, when you look at the church makeup, they had to file a 501c3, meaning you're in the bed with the government at this point, because we can't tax you, only under the guise that you're promoting a certain doctrine and preaching a certain way. I mean, I think one of the pastors, I can't think of his name, he exposed, he said, "Man, I want a church." He said, "Well, it's a bank you go to, and you can get funding, you can get your church, but you got to teach it this way, do it this way." You see what I'm saying? So with what I noticed, if you look at jobs, you had not Lockheed Martin, Boeing, you had Boeing, Amazon, maybe one other, what was outside Pepsi? It wasn't Nissan. It may have been, it was a car company. Okay. But what I'm making the point is that they walked out because the conditions weren't right. They were striking, essentially.
Okay.
You ain't never seen a church congregation, Stellantis, I think that's what it was. You never seen a church congregation get up and say, "Hey, what you're preaching and how you're teaching is incorrect. We're going to leave until you get back in line with the word." So they're in bed with the government. They have infiltrated not only our music, but they have school and the church. Everything is tainted and is corrupt.
And for someone like a Mike Todd, most of his congregation, they have what I've been learning or been acclimated with the phrase of itching ears. Like they're like he's the type, he's kind of one of those charismatics that tells you what you want to hear. This is a man who literally was up there, you know, basically affirming, you know, transsexuality, saying like, I wish, man, that, you know, it was like, you know, a yes, no, or maybe. And it's like, dude, you're supposed to be a shepherd of the word. And yeah, you're trying to remix it to basically kowtow to your audience instead of telling them the truth, you know? And it's like, you have pastors like him and others who don't tell them the truth and, you know, and leading them astray because he wants that congregation looking big like an arena, you know.
And like I said, we talk about confusion. This all it is to further cause confusion. And the reason it's easy to cause confusion is because when you look out into that congregation, you see predominantly women. And so much so that you got to kind of have that type of music in there because, you know, women like to shake their ass, they like to twerk. We've been seeing Christian gospel artists, other than the queer ones, we've been seeing a lot of women gospel artists twerking now. And twerking in the congregation, twerking, performing in the church. And you got to do this because when it comes to balance, when it comes to structure, I don't think a lot of women are meant to have that type of balance and structure. The reason we've been seeing people like what's the other dude that got the podcast, the one that cheated on his wife, got a pregnant move,
Mark Lamont,
what
from Maryland.
Yeah, but he in Atlanta now.
I was talking about Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant. Now you see people like Jamal Bryant talking about we got to get black men in. You're having the issue, the same reason you're having the same issue with a lot of the clubs. A lot of the clubs are having issues because it's predominantly women now, and how the club structure has pretty much always worked. The women was to always draw the money.
Right.
What you saying? Said I'm gonna tell you what I noticed. The club nowadays is looking just like the church.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Ain't that crazy?
Yep.
No, I mean
the club nowadays is looking just like the church.
Yep.
Ran by women, owned by women. The women getting the sections. The women doing. You see what I'm saying? They're quarterbacking the vibe. As a man, how can I come in there and, you know, provide a presence? Because it sound like they not even in here for me for real. They already about everything.
Right, but see,
they already assume the positions.
But see, the thing is, the structure of things ain't meant to work like that. No. After a while, the women gonna say, "Well, I'm not finna go because I want to get out, but I want somebody to flirt with me. I want somebody to buy me a drink. I want to feel special. I don't, you know, because I think we always had this thing. People always talk about like masculine and femininity. I think we have those energies that always end up crying out for one another.
Yeah.
Right. So you're gonna have you have a lot of masculine women, but women are gonna start crying out because I want to be soft today.
Yeah,
I want to, you know, I've been working hard. I'm over this company. I'm over these men. I listen to people. I tell people what to do. I just want to go out, let my hair down, have somebody flirt with me, tell me that I'm beautiful, buy me a drink, maybe get my back beat out. I want that, but I can't go to the club and get that because all the other women in here are women. It's other women in here, and what it's further showing is women aren't as gay as they act like they are.
Bro.
Because if y'all was cool with it, you would be actually happy to be in a room full of women slapping on each other ass, rubbing on each other cats, sucking on each other titties in the club, buying each other drink. But y'all don't want that. Y'all still want the male presence because the club structure is women get in free before 10. Women get drinks before this time. Men come in, they pay full price. You men typically come in to buy the sections and the bottles, and then they invite the girls. Hey, we see 5 or 6 girls. Hey, y'all come into our section. Y'all can sit down. We're gonna buy y'all this. We're gonna pull y'all drinks and stuff like that. So the structure is always been the women was to draw the money.
Right
now, the women spending the money is messing up the structure, even in church. You ain't got a lot of women finna be in that throwing money like that in that collection plate.
And you know what's crazy, man? Like you really only see it pronounced with us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like even if you go to like a bar, you're gonna more likely see a white chick going out with her boyfriend or her husband.
Yeah, you do see that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? And even like church, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I go to COH and I even noticed that like with the people who attend like those campuses, you more so tend to see more families, you know what I'm saying? Women with their kids with the wedding band on, you feel what I'm saying? And they just look more relaxed, you know what I'm saying? Versus you go to the hood, you know what I'm saying? you got a whole bunch of single moms, you know what I'm saying? Some of them look blessed, some of them look stressed, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of depending on, you know what I'm saying, they walk, but you just kind of like notice that just not even just not making it an ethnic thing, but like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's more so with us more feminine or feminist, both feminist driven, with this nature of, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna do all bad by myself, but then you do bad by yourself, and now you want the assistance of a man to get you out of your apparel.
Yep. If you go through this, like I said, you go through the word and the information in it, you ask yourself, well, can a woman get to God without me? As the man, I want to say, is there scripture that said, well, you can't get through God? It's God, man, the woman, and family.
Facts.
How you bypass me as the man and go straight to God?
Even the women that's in the Bible, just think about this: the women that are in the Bible, the women that was, had some type of right hand to God or was close to God or Jesus or whatnot, they were all submissive women. They weren't boss babes and all of this stuff. They were, putting myrrh on Jesus' feet. That's a year's worth of work to get some myrrh to rub on Jesus's feet to come in. Like you got to understand the idea of what women think. Even just when you go back and read the Proverbs 31 woman and how she actually worked. She didn't sit at home. She wasn't going to motherfucking happy hours and drinking mimosas with her friend. No, this was a woman that worked. She brought, favor to her family, to her husband. She was really a helpmate. She really did shit around around the house and built stuff and crafted stuff. This was a person that did these things and helped her family and gained favor with the Lord. Like, people don't understand when they read that verse. It's cute.
Yeah. What they say? A man find a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
A man find a wife.
Find a good thing. Yo, they gonna say that one part.
Right.
No, you gotta read that whole chapter, bro.
It's a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot. And then if you ask people to quote it after that, they got nothing.
Right.
Because it's, like I said, it's a good talking point, and that's what people like to stop. And that's what people use with the Bible. People use the Bible as a talking point, but the people don't study it. People don't, live with it. People don't read it all the way through. Because honestly, the Bible, and this is what I say, I'm not the most religious person, but there is some truths in the Bible that cannot be denied. And there are some things that can help you with your life. And honestly, if you live by the Bible, I don't see where you could go wrong if you actually live by the Bible. Right. It's just from being a pastor's kid, reading the Bible, seeing what was going on. There's a lot of stuff, like I just think about, we have a lot of conversations in here, right? Typically, most of the issues we have when we talk about relationships, especially when it comes to women, revolve around sex. One of the things in the Bible told us to do: wait till you was married before you had sex.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Just think of how many people's lives would be different if they wouldn't have had children too early. Just think of how many people's lives would have been different today when it caught STDs. Just think about how, just think about, putting yourself in a position where you're out here dating somebody that's, sex crazy and they rape you. Like, you got to think about it. Sex is a big downfall of so many people. And the Bible simply just gave us something so simple. Make sure you're married before you have sex and your children.
That's what society. Okay.
Nah, for real. And I think the interesting part about it, man, is when you think about something simple, like, okay, refrain from it. I think you alluded to it, culture. It used to be a time where people had the same code of, okay, we're going to wait until we are married to do this. Like, I really believe, like, many of our grandparents, great grandparents, they got married, not necessarily, not saying that they didn't love each other, they didn't value each other as far as a relationship is concerned. But I think many of them had that fire burning in their loins so bad, they was like, you know what? Like the Bible says, man, if you just cannot help yourself, get married.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just cannot help yourself, you cannot, abstain, you cannot stay celibate. Like, please get married, because it's a line I've been coming up with. It's like, you got a fire in your loins that should light up a lineage, not burn a village.
I like that.
You got a fire that's a lot of lineage and not burn a village. Like, you got some people who will use that sexual fire, and because sex could be so lust-filled and so greedy that you don't know of the potential damages you're causing by being such a sex fiend.
And
I agree.
if you break down, like a lot of time with the black race, we're under so much stress and impropriety, if you will. It's not, we're not balanced. We're out of place in so many ways. Sex is the cigarette, it's the relief, it's the I get to dominate. Okay, well, I've been fucking up over here, I've been doing this, I'm working this, I'm struggling with this, but this I could dominate. And then if you look at how sexual relationship between men and women, for whatever reason, you look at the conversation, it's always this competition. Oh, you too little. Oh, you came fast.
Right.
As if it's these rules that came with it that determine, all right, that's good sex. Okay, that I can't determine what my length gonna be or size, and I may be able to have some control over how long I can go before I bust, but it's this competition factor. He can't handle me, I put his ass to sleep.
Right.
Where you see women bragging about it. When you see men bragging about, yeah, I dicked her down. Yeah, I got her going crazy. It's a lot of times this is the only area in life where people can truly say they have dominated something.
Right.
Truly say I got control over something. I get told what to do at work. I get told what to do at home. But this right here, I'm a king on queen.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
That the simplest, most natural thing you're supposed to do. You take it as if you dominating something or a place in life, and it's the only place I'm gonna
Listen to the phrase, I beat the puss up. How is that so commercial and so common now?
Right.
Yeah.
I beat it up, meaning I dominated it. You don't hear a lot of other coaches talking like this, but us.
Facts.
Right. I beat the puss up. Or I drained him. I took his soul. I'm a soul snatcher.
Or be on demon time.
I'm on demon time. You see what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of time with sex, it had been corrupted versus what it was meant for, intended to.
Yes.
And then going back to what you stated, as far as like what made you attracted to a person, like, wait, damn, you value the same things that I value. I'm attracted to you on that alone. You like you on the same type of time I'm on. Man, you want family, you want this, you believe in faith and this. I'm attracted to you on that alone versus, well, damn, this person ain't right for me. This person got a family at the house. I want to fuck them. Or I want to take her from her dude. You see what I'm saying? We twisted.
Right.
And what's scary is even the situations that a lot of us get in, we talk about, like I said, the sex issue. You know, you got to worry about the orbiters or who gonna, shoot you because you quote unquote taking a vagina and stuff like that.
Yeah. Possessive.
You don't even have to worry about that if you did that right. If you married and she was, faithful to you, you was faithful to her.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got married, y'all had y'all kids and did what y'all supposed to do. You wouldn't have to worry about even that aspect. Or women have pretty much outnumbered men for so long. You shouldn't be out here trying to sneak or backdoor another man to get his chick, because now, especially in the black community, it's probably like 50-1. You ain't got to be out here, especially when you know a chick got a dude. You ain't got to be out here backdooring. But it's like they said, that competition, they want to conquer, they want to feel like you're more of a man. And I think, especially with black men, we've always kind of been told that our masculinity is synonymous with what we do with our penises.
Facts. Yeah.
And that's a scary thing. And now when you get older, like I said, my conversation is why. When I think about like most of my when I started really just having sex in high school, for what?
I got a personal testimony like with my dad, and this was a gripe I had with him. My dad had pushed that agenda so hard on me. Man, you better get as much pussy as you can. Just get it. Like, and he was like, he was living vicariously through me, because I'm taking pride. Okay, my dad proud of this. I'm showing him the girls. Okay, yeah, she fine. So it's almost like I got to get his approval. So it's like, then, well, she fine. Well, I got to get one finer than her. Right. I got to get one finer than her, because this what he, this what he putting his focus at. And I go back and look at him like, that didn't really benefit me in no way. If it did anything, it made me jaded. It made me not have trust in women. It made me, go down certain holes of which are beneficial to a degree, but you almost gotta take it. You almost gotta be a little pissed to say, man, I can't even lay down with this chick without one thought in my mind that she gonna do some bullshit. Because I done dealt with so many at this point they done all did something to me but that come with people. I done did bullshit,
Facts.
but I don't acknowledge it like that.
Right.
But with this woman, I can't even really get comfortable with her because I got this card in my back pocket that's saying she gonna pull some bullshit on me.
And I kind of guess it kind of go back to this thing too. When we always talk about infidelity, and that's probably my hard stop in a relationship. Like if a woman cheat, I'm done. But then I just think about like how many times I've actually cheated on myself. Like diets, working out, getting up doing stuff I'm supposed to do, stuff to better my future. And just doing that for myself, I done failed and came short so many times that we hold so many people in such high regard to do us and treat us a certain type of way because they tell us they love us. They spend a day with us. We see them and we romanticize a whole bunch of shit. And I said, cheating is drastic, but let's say they go back on their word or do something they're not supposed to do. And then we get upset or feel like that's the end of the world. And then you be like, hey, I have done bullshit myself. I have failed myself before. I have, quit on myself. I have started and stopped X, Y, Z. I have said I was going to get up and work out today and then find myself eating 65 cheeseburgers today. So,
Yeah.
it's always something that, we hold these people in such high regard to do some things. And we just never hold ourselves to that same standard, the hypocrisy of a lot of shit.
It's that, I don't know the exact script, but it's like, don't be trying to get that thrown out of someone else's eye. You didn't shatter the one in yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's easy to be critical and to have harsh criticism for someone else, but it's super hard, bro, to look at that man in the mirror and look at your own errors and ways that you can correct your own actions and behaviors. That's one of the hardest things ever, and to be open and honest with yourself with that.
Yeah, see that mirror, like I said, that mirror is gonna always be a scary thing. And you know what's scarier, even scarier about mirrors? You never look the same in all mirrors. You can look at in one mirror, you look a little slimmer in this mirror. The other mirror, you look a little bit bigger. Your skin complexion look a little dingier here. You look a little lighter here. Like all mirrors don't even look the same either, too. So then, like I said, you have to be honest about what you see in that moment, in that time, in that particular mirror that you're looking in.
We got some comments. That's it.
Yeah. Nino said, I cheated on myself. That hit close to home. And then you had Darius had said cuz, but that was it.
But you said so there though, said for real, bro. Like I never thought about it like that. Like cheat on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like not holding yourself to a high regard, but then be willing to cut somebody quick. Like if they do something, you know what I'm saying, out the way. And I think that's why, like, man, it's so important. Like we'll tell someone, hey, like operate with grace, give yourself grace, but we're not willing to extend that same grace or extend that same level of patience for another person because we're expecting more perfection out of the outside instead of the internal.
Because it's easier to hold somebody else accountable for some shit. And we've all seen it. We can just go back to like jobs. Your manager supposed to be the one that's supposed to, be the I guess the epitome of what we supposed to do with this job.
Right.
And there you see them slacking, going to sleep, doing lazy stuff. But as soon as you do something, now they want to fire you. Like, my nigga, you would just sleep all week long. Now I dozed off for 30 seconds because I've been at the job trying to work and pick up your slack. Now you want to fire me for doing the same thing you doing? You're the leader, you're the head. And I think a lot of times too, to be true be told, that's why a lot of men have a lot of issues in their relationship. We blame a lot of women for stuff too, but a lot of us niggas ain't really meant to lead a lot of these women. Even though we talk about the men, women are masculine, whoop to whoop, that is true. And two things can be true at one time. But at the same time, a lot of us men don't understand and don't have the discipline to actually be there to lead. Even when I think about talking about Mike Todd, a lot of these men ain't meant to lead. And that's what's scary. We have a lot of people that are in leadership positions, and they aren't leaders. They haven't been called, they haven't been trained or studied or tested to be in these said positions. But we just flock to it because it look good. It's the popular thing to do. Everybody's doing it. The community's doing it. It's cool, So, like I said, it's gonna have to be a big awakening. It's gonna have to be. I think we're gonna have to, for us as Black people. I mean, you had a conversation about this the other day on the podcast. I think it's gonna have to be some COVID-esque type shit to just slap us across the face.
It's gonna have to be a lot of disruption.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a big it's gonna have to come, because if it don't, because we play the waiting game.
Yeah.
We wait for shit to happen.
Right.
Nah. You wait for it to happen, you want to. You ain't gonna be prepared.
Yeah.
To prepare for something, you'll better adapt, because you're preparing. It's intentional now. We need to change. I need to, we need to go this way. But going back to your point about leaders, he's a proper leader, because all leaders are not meant to lead you to the promised land. We're gonna lead you to hell.
Hold on. But that's pushback. That's my pushback. True what you said, because some people are meant to lead you to hell. But he's the improper leader. And the reason I say that, because he's supposed to be leading you through a doctrine that's there. So if he's not leading you properly with that doctrine, he's the wrong leader, but could be a wolf in sheep's clothing, leading you something else.
And I think that's going to be most of the agendas and strategies, is to mask. I need to dress up like this, portray as this, sashay as this. And that's why I never got into pat myself on the back with certain shit. Like I'm this person, I'm 100. I ain't 100. I may be 98. There's no way you could be 100 with everybody.
Right.
There's no way. And I said it on the podcast. There's no way you could be 100 with everybody. And because if you 100 with everybody, it ain't no way you 100 to yourself.
Listen, it's a saying that one of my partners got. He coined it by saying, keep it in the high 90s.
High 90s.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's almost impossible to like just be straight up like 100. You feel what I'm saying? Because if a person was legit 100, bro, that person would not probably have as many relationships as they probably do right now, because you would have to like expose so much of yourself as like your raw thoughts, regardless of how it may come off your delivery, things that may offend people, things that that if you didn't sanitize it before, saying it out loud, that it could possibly end relationships.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, nah, man, it's damn near impossible to be 100.
Because how can I graduate? Because I had to say, well, you got one woman, you only been one woman. You got one job, you only been one job. You got one or however many friends. Those are your only friend groups. You have no fallouts. You have no breakups. So is this gradual now? Okay, now I can say I'm 100 because I ain't broke with nobody in the last 8 years. I've been hanging with my last partners for the last 8 years. I've been in my job. Are you saying now I'm 100 at 36, 46? You see what I'm saying? That's why I say there's no way you can be 100 across the board. It's too many people you're going to come in contact with. Now, when you like I said, you circumcise some shit and say, hey, I'm going to get my energy here, here, here. And I'm going to get them my all. And I'm going to get them the best. And they say, okay, yeah, here 100 over here. The moment I start entertaining stuff outside of that, it ain't going to be no way I'm going to get them 100 too.
I agree.
You got some more videos here?
Oh, no, that's it. I just want to tell y'all, if y'all are watching right now, y'all could call in. We've been talking about a lot. We just been talking about just the hypocrisy of the black church today. Michael Todd remixing, secular songs. Brazil mocking God and having the floods the next day. And we talked about, what the first time we talked about?
And them doggone
Harlem gospel travelers.
Oh, the Harlem gospel
travelers. Harlem.
The queer music groups, and the twerking of the women in the church, and the pimps that's in the pulpits, and the whores that's in the congregation. It's a lot of stuff that we have to address in our community and in our church, and we can't act like this stuff hasn't been going. It's been going on so long, but the issue when it becomes commercialized. Like if you had a subset of people, a group here, a group there that did okay, but now it seems like all of the churches that we see, the mega churches that we see, seem all to be doing the same thing, the same formula, the same blueprint, the same remixing the songs, the same way they dress, the same way come as you are. Cleanliness is next to godliness, not really reading scriptures out of Bibles. And, these are the things that we're seeing. And this is supposed to be a place where we're supposed to be healing people. That's the part that breaks my heart. It's a place where we're supposed to be healing people. And if you actually read your Bible, it's nothing in the Bible that really can lead you astray if you live by this doctrine and do what it said. Just like I said, when we talk about sex, what it said in the Bible about sex would have helped a lot of people avoid a lot of heartbreak, baby dad and baby mama having bastards, not being able to see your kids, child support, STDs, being raped, putting in situations that you never thought you would be in if you would have listened and take heed. And I get it. When you're young, dumb, full of cum, man or woman, it's hard to listen to somebody that you feel like is trying to keep you away from something that has been glamorized in TV, magazines, music, like sex, to be such fun activity. But then it's sad when you have to be old and be beat up and battered and bruised to be like, damn, I was stupid because I didn't listen to this. And I don't want y'all to have to go through any of that. If y'all want to call in, the call-in numbers at the bottom right there. Call in. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all share the video. We're probably going to get up out of here in the next 5 minutes. If y'all want to call in right now. Y'all fellas got anything else y'all need to say?
Man, you know something I thought about?
What?
I caught this on Threads, and do you think that a lot of like television shows and movies, do you think that it's starting to become a bit unnecessary to have like sex scenes?
Say it again.
Like, do you think it's unnecessary to have like sex scenes and like television shows, movies? Like what is that show for like the overall like?
I think part of the human experience. I think sex scenes are cool, but I think we're getting to the point now where they're trying to make the sex scenes a little bit more raunchier. They're actually showing more dicks and pussies in movies and shit like that now. Like it gets to the point now that it's kind of like porn in movies.
And also, if you look at the micro gestures in it, I think it also shows what may lead up to it. What scenarios? You look at the arguments, it get toxic. We fight, now we sexing, or
the FTF
we broke up, but now we finna make up sex with that. Or well, people buy, we tricking. This is a situation for the scene. Let's say Tyler Perry, I need rent money, I gotta throw in the sex scene, set it off. I think it's sold to us as a, what's the word I want to say? I ain't gonna say a novelty, but it's like we want to see it. We want to see because we can relate. You see what I'm saying? I think in certain situations, all men and women will be in the sex becomes a byproduct, co-working space, work bay.
Yeah.
Most of fails start at work. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Things like that. So I think it's just a depiction of what real life, because the more realistic your show or program is, it looks like that's the higher the ratings.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think that you have to have sex scenes in your shows. I do think they're not necessarily necessary, but like I said, it's part of the human experience. I think the issue is when you have the reason why you have parental advisories on there. I don't think you should have sex scenes in children shows. I don't think you should have, like, if it's, for instance, if I have a movie and it's rated R and it's a certain age should be able to see it, you still should not be able to take your teenager to the movies, even though you're the parent, and still let your child see this when you're gonna have, like, vagina and killing and murder and all that. I don't think you should still be able to do that. But there was a time where, if your mother come and sign off or buy the tickets for you and they show the ID, they'll still let you go in there and see the movie. So I think those are the issues that we have. Like, even listening to the music, just to listen to a Glorilla, like, give me head, I want your sperm. Like, she said it in the song, and I'm like, wait the fuck a minute. You got people letting their children listen to this shit.
10
That
years
is
old.
porn. Yeah. That's porn.
Yeah, audio.
It's audio porn.
Like, what?
It's crazy, bro.
And you got people read, like, just think about what I just said. Give me head, I want your sperm. Somebody at church is going to remix that song and play it. And they're going to put Jesus, Jesus, Jesus all on it. Scared, like, it's
This
fun.
the new normal, baby.
Yeah,
Welcome to the new world. You welcomed it, or you ushered it in.
Yeah,
this is what this is what you got to deal with. You got to deal with your child being exposed early, and
sad and scary. But I want to tell everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all let us know. I'm gonna let y'all take us out with what y'all got coming up, events, whatnot. Hey, Chris.
June 22nd. Shout out to Latoya. I'll be on a males panel at Miles College on this June 22nd for the Birmingham Full Figure Fashion Week. Shout out to her for inviting me onto that panel. There's a lot of dope brothers. We're gonna have some real conversations. We got the Legacy Suite going. If y'all looking for high-end vintage premium apparel accessories, I'm located at, I forgot my address. We're at 244 Goodwin Crest Drive, Suite 106, Homewood, Alabama 35209. Yes, but we're gonna be opening up. Like I said, we've been talking about doing more projects outside of the studio as well, and getting the city and getting the community involved with some of these conversations. That way you're enlightening, you're informed, and you can express your opinion without judgment. This is what this space was created for, to have real conversations without the judgment and without the ridicule.
All righty. I am a member of the Alabama Greek Picnic Association. We have our annual picnic in August. So, go on LGBT.com and check that out. Also, we got the HBCU kickball tournament. That's gonna be at, I think that's gonna be at Legion Field. Yeah, I think it's gonna be at Legion Field like July the 12th. You know what I'm saying? So check that out, man. We got a lot of stuff going on in the city, ALGP, check that out, Instagram, HBCU kickball tournament, all the HBCUs in the state, Lawson, Miles, Stillman, Tuskegee, State, A&M, Talladega. We're gonna have a good time, 4 o'clock, July the 12th, man. Check us out.
It's the New Number Podcast, and we're gone. Peace.